Greetings, YouTube. As of this recording, the President of the United States has successfully completely closed the borders to all entries of immigrants, either those that are coming across uh, as asylum seekers or on any other level. Flat out, you can't get into the United States of America unless, of course, the GOP has invited you in as a guest worker. They're okay with those. It's funny about that. It's like almost like they want people they can financially exploit and get past the red caps who may not notice them. I don't know. Could just be me. Um, so, I mean, this is something that the president has been touting since he got into office, that, all of these people coming in are taking American jobs. But they're actually not taking American jobs because remember, the types of jobs that these immigrants are taking are being hired to take um, are jobs that Americans don't want, like we say working on farms, picking fruit, things like that. Americans don't want those jobs. They're back-breaking labor, and even if you pay the minimum wage, they're back-breaking labor for minimum wage. Even if you were to pay people 15 or maybe even $20 an hour, I don't think they'd want to do them anyway. I can tell you I wouldn't, working outside in the sun all day long, bent over, picking fruits and vegetables. Thank you, no, I will pass. Um, And yet, if you when you get rid of the immigrants, the fruit just sits there because there's no one to pick it. So I see in the future we're going to have a lot of vegetables and fruits that will not go to the market and will in fact just rot somewhere. In the midst of a situation where there are still Americans that don't have sufficient food, they're dumping milk into the drain for the same reason right now because there's overproduction, even though there are Americans who are hungry. Yeah, America is an absolute mess. We are a nation of barbarians. But it makes sense for the president to do this. He needs something to distract people from the fact that he and his administration completely and utterly botched the response to COVID-19. And his base is dying, and his base is being encouraged to go out in public and gather in large crowds. So in the very near future, more of his base is going to die. And sadly, they're going to infect people that were smart enough not to go in public and protest the mitigation efforts that are being put in place to keep them alive. So these protesters, and of course, they're not actually protesting the desire for them to go back to work. They're protesting because they want all the low-level employees to go back to work at movie theaters and at restaurants. They want people out there to entertain them. They want to throw people under the bus, or more aptly, they want to throw people into the grist mill because they're more than happy to let low-wage employees die if it means they get to go out for a burger and a movie. There are brave nurses standing in the streets in some cases blocking these protests because the nurses, even though they're dead tired, even though they're being pushed to their breaking point, would rather stand in the street and block these protesters than have to treat them later as COVID-19 cases in their hospitals. That's what's going to happen. And so the president had to throw some red meat to the base. And what better way than to shut the borders so that he can show them that even in the midst of a pandemic, even in the midst of the apocalypse, he is their true blue, white nationalist. And I will be shocked if even after we begin to come out of the COVID-19 pandemic cycle and things begin to return to a sense uh, of less anxiety, um, that he does not find some way of keeping these border closings in place until the end of his term, because he needs his base to be happy that he has shown the brown people they can't come to America. Um, and of course, we're going to be in recovery from COVID-19 for a very long time. It will take fiscally and medically to our medical system and stuff years until we've completely recovered from this. And it's not going to be a complete recovery until we have a functioning vaccine and the vaccine is available everywhere. because that's what the new reality is that COVID-19 is probably with us forever, or some derivative of it, because it's going to continue to mutate. That's what diseases do. That's what a virus does. It mutates to survive. Its goal is to make sure it perpetuates itself, and it will do anything it has to do so. Um, and the best way we can stop it from succeeding, of course, is following the guidance of experts, which redcaps don't like experts. Of course, I'm still intrigued when we finally have a vaccine. Will the redcaps use it? Or will they say, no, we can't use a vaccine. Vaccines are evil. Even though the previous year or 18 months prior to that, they were present for thousands and thousands of Americans dying from a disease. They bore witness to Americans being eradicated by a pandemic. And will they be smart enough to take that vaccine? Or will their paranoia about experts kick in even stronger? But in the meantime, the president has closed the border. So the red cap racists are happy. His base is pleased, even though they are being killed every day because of his crappy policies concerning COVID-19.